she was reported missing, her 3 older brothers were placed into DCS custody.
We really want our boys back home. If Summer was to be found today, we wouldn't be able to see her or talk to her. And we can't talk to our boys.
Were they in touch with Candace while you were in jail?
Yes. Yeah.
But did something change when you got out of jail?
The only thing that changed is suddenly we weren't allowed to contact them at all.
Wells spent a little more than 8 months in the Hawkins County Jail for pleading guilty to a DUI charge.
One of the guards gave me a copy of the New Living Translation Bible, so I found that to be not the best book there was, so I read it several times because that's all there really was to do. I was in 23-hour lockdown, so for my safety, they say.
And since he was released from jail, Wells says it's been a challenge to gain custody back.
They're doing nothing to help us. In fact, they're making us jump through all kinds of hoops, which is almost impossible to jump through all of them and hold a job and do all these things. They're making it real tough on us.
Wells told us he has been in touch with investigators over Summer's case.
There's not one shred of evidence. There's nothing. As much as they've looked, as much as the work of this they've done, they haven't been able to come up with anything at all.
His wife, Summer's mother, Candace, has also been in and out of the hospital.
Candace has been in the emergency room 4 times for heart problems, and we're looking at eventually doing a major surgery, hopefully to correct the problem with her heart. She's doing better, I think. But all this stress and stuff, it's not helping at all, I don't think, for sure.
The love of our life. She's what made our world go around.
It's been 13 days since Candace Bly and Donald Wells last saw their 5-year-old daughter, Summer.
I'm just scared that somebody's hurting her, and there's nothing I can do about it, it smothers me.
At Beech Creek community of Hawkins County.
We have to prepare ourselves for a worst case scenario. We could always hope for a good scenario, but it can't be good because no matter what situation she's in, she's lost her freedom. Even if she's alive, she's lost her freedom. She can't be seen in public.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers, and we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers, and I said okay, and I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV, and I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes I came back, and I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around. Ever. We were waiting on my mother's prescription from the drugstore at Walgreens on Fort Henry and Moreland Drive, and Warriors was straight across, so we just figured I'd take her over there to go swimming for a little bit while we waited on my mom's prescription. We weren't even there but 20 minutes.
And so then Summer came back here with you later that afternoon, right?
Yes.
And so was there anybody else with you?
No, not when we came home, no.
Was there anybody else swimming with you? People, I think, had questions about
wanted to go with because he didn't want to be around his grandmother because, as he would call it, she's a... I'm sorry, that's what he said. And I said, okay, well, I gotta go pick up Mom from the hospital, and then we gotta go do Walgreens, and then I'll take you home. Well, we had to wait for Mom's prescription at Walgreens, so we just went up to Warriors. There was all kinds of trash everywhere at Warriors when we showed up. And I let Summer out to play, and we just stood there for about 15-20 minutes, and then we all got back in the truck and went and got Mom's prescription, and I took him home, and then we came home.
About how many hours was that before she was reported missing?
You know, I really can't tell you all the time details because time gets away from you when you're trying to enjoy yourself.
Is there anything else you wanted to address about the TikTok or any rumors or things you've seen about that or on that topic?
I don't really have no more than that.
Sister missing. Did you want to say anything? Because we know that this is the second time you've dealt with a heartbreak that you don't have an answer to when your sister missing. Did you want to say anything about your sister being missing or recall any of that?
When my sister got missing, I was in between Arkansas and Tennessee. I don't know all of what happened or what did happen, but I hope that they find her too and bring her home safely too.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, she disappeared without a trace. They haven't found anything, haven't found a body, nothing. And you know, when you see cases like that, that's why I lose hope on Summer. You know, I want to keep hope, but sometimes I lose hope.
Lose it.
And I think, well, maybe we won't never see her again, you know. So I start thinking in past tense, sorry. But I'm trying to keep hope up. I'm trying to keep my prayers up and all that.
And, you know, has it been tough, you know, having to deal with that situation and then this happening too? I mean, how does that make you feel that?
It is difficult. It's very difficult. It makes no sense at all. How can people just vanish and not be heard from or seen without a trace? It's very devastating.
Keep a close watch on your kids.
Yes.
As we heard in that recording, Don Wells is pointing the finger at Tony Hammonds. And this is Tony Hammonds. This guy right here. So this individual, a few days after Summer Wells went missing, and let's go ahead and put up this disclaimer. Anybody that we're talking about here on this show is innocent. All parties are innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. So this guy right here, police have even came out and said that they don't think that the two incidences between Summer Wells disappearing and Tony Wells attempting to kidnap this 12-year-old in Kingsport, Tennessee, which he was later caught. Okay. And I haven't came across anything about his next court hearing or his sentencing, but we're going to be taking a look at this story. Now, there's another individual here. I believe that they could actually be related. And this person is Gary Hammonds. The charges that are stemming from Gary Hammonds are back in 2018. And right here is Gary Hammonds. The charges stemming from Gary Hammonds is back in 2018. He was busted for having child pornography, over 1,000 images and videos on his computer. And ironically enough, just recently, the one-year disappearance of Summer Wells 1 year later, after she disappeared, Gary Hammonds had a court date. His sentencing, he was found guilty, a grand jury indicted him on the 1 year anniversary of Summer Wells disappearing. His next sentencing hearing is, I think, scheduled in October of this year. So, guys, let's take a look further into these people. And as usual, bear in mind that it's rolling at the bottom of the screen. None of these people have been found guilty when it relates to Summer Wells. Okay, I'm not here to spread false information. We're just speculating. These are theories. We're just talking about this case. Because at the end of the day, the person that is at the center of this would be Summer Moon Utah Wells. Anybody that has information on Summer Moon Utah Wells is urged to contact 1-800-TBI-FIND. Only submit credible tips and do not waste law enforcement's time. So I'm going to pull up this tab. And who is this coming from? This is coming from News Channel 11, and they were covering this when it first broke. So this came out on June 21st of 2021, but I believe this happened just a few days. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I know that other YouTubers have talked about Gary and Tony Hammonds, but this happened on June 18th or 19th. But it reads, a Kingsport man is behind bars after an attempt abduction in the 3900 block of Skyland Drive last Thursday, according to police. Kingsport police charged Tony Hammonds, 58, with attempted, especially aggravated kidnapping, aggravated burglary, and simple assault. So what happened was, around 11 a.m., he saw this 12-year-old boy that was mowing his yard, and a vehicle pulled up, a maroon vehicle. Tony Hammonds, we're talking about Tony Hammonds. Tony got out of the car, approached the boy, and said, "Come here, boy." This is when he ran back inside to his mother, and Tony even chased him in the house, guys. Okay, so we're going to be reading this if you already haven't. The investigation revealed that a 12-year-old boy was mowing his yard when a vehicle drove by, said Kingsport Police Department Public Information Officer Tom Patton. The vehicle returned soon thereafter, pulled into the driveway, and an individual got out of the vehicle. Mind you, Tony was not alone. There was someone with him in the car, but that person they're not considering to be a suspect. Approached the boy, ran towards him, yelled, "Come here, boy," and then the boy actually ran away. And the guy, chased him into the garage. Through his garage, the child got into the house, and then the subject actually tried to gain entry inside the house forcibly and was ultimately unsuccessful in doing that. The child's mother was in the house. She threatened to call the police, of course. She did call the police, but when he heard that threat, he fled, and he fled the area before they got there. Hammonds was arrested without incident 2 days later, on Saturday, Patton explains. And then it goes on to say that a neighbor actually recalls him seeing as she watches the incident unfold while playing with her own child. So people witnessed this. This is completely bizarre. The reason why I'm saying bizarre, I'm not saying that abductions, like, kidnappings are bizarre in general. What I mean is it's bizarre for a complete stranger to kidnap a child. A complete random stranger. And you even see that police say this is not out of the ordinary for kidnappings to happen, but in this manner, with a complete stranger just kidnapping a random child, it's rare. Now, because these two incidences happened around the same time, when was this published? Okay, so on June 21st of 2021, they even came out and said, after an attempted abduction in Kingsport last week, Kingsport PD PIO tells me that this was an isolated incident, that officials do not believe it was in any way connected to the search for summer wells in the neighboring Hawkins County. I mean, if he's able to, he went inside the house, he went inside the garage, okay? So if he's able to do that to one kid, he's able to do it to another, I'm pretty sure. Again, I'm just theorizing. And then now we have Don Wells pointing the finger at him, but Don Wells points the finger at everybody. He's going to do anything possible to deflect attention.
He's set so many lives. He's put so many people on the bus. He's wasted so many volunteers. I mean, I feel horrible for you guys. Because y'all got to listen to this shit and try to make something out of it. And you want to believe it because you want to help Summer, but really,
We don't believe
you
him.
don't realize you're dealing with a psychopath.
You think he's a psychopath? Sociopath, psychopath, or do you think she's just a drug addict?
Schizophrenic, I mean, just a drug head.
What do you think at this point happened to her?
I'm still on all these rumors going around. We're starting to wonder this and that, but it looks like it's still back to somebody abducted her.
Are you involved with some people that could have possibly done that?
No. I try to stay involved with church people and good people and stuff like that, especially for my kids' sake.
So if she was abducted, you think it was somebody that you don't know?
Yeah.
If they have her right now, what kind of message would you want to say?
Just please have mercy on that poor little baby. If there's an ounce of mercy in your body, please let her find a way to get home. So maybe God will have mercy on you.
What's it like on, this Father's Day to have one of your children missing?
It's horrible. Horrible, absolutely horrible.
She's your youngest?
Yes.
What are you hoping at this point?
I'm hoping that she comes home, I'm hoping and praying that she's not in any pain or misery or being hurt.
Hunter called you.
Yeah.
Okay. So Hunter called you and he said Summer's missing.
He said, Dad, I'm in some trouble.
That would just be, and she was standing in front of me right now. There was gonna be no way that I could not run up and grab her in my arms.
What would you say to her? What would your last words be to her? Your last words?
To tell her how much I love her and miss her and wish she was here with me. There's no way I cannot.
you touch her now? Can you touch her now?
No, I can't. I wish I could.
You can't even see her.
Don't you think I don't wish I can?
I know you wish you can. Do you think Don wishes you can? You heard everything he said.
About what he said.
I know you don't. I know you don't. But you heard what he said. How does that change your feelings about that, Candace? Knowing that's how he felt.
You know what? I have a whole lot of changed feelings.
As well as you should.
And someone standing here right now. No. If someone standing here right now in this kitchen and in this room, there would be nobody that could stop me from running up and grabbing her and holding her and just loving on her every second that I could.
That's passion. That's what I wanted you to show right there. That right there, Candace, is passion. Now, when you ask and when you talk to Don, does he show that sort of passion about his missing daughter? Does he care that much, or is it just about a lot of go?
Kinda. A little bit. Not much.
Not much. Not much at all. You know why? Because the sexual predators, not much at all. Not much at all. That dominant side. That controlling, abusive side. There's so much, Candace, you probably missed out on.
You know, every night I lay here and I listen to music and stuff, and I'm like in a prayer kind of like, I'm like, Summer, where are you? How can I find you? Where can I go get you at? What can I do? And it fucking, it destroys me every night.
Yeah, I got fired the day before today. He looked all crazy and shit. He was going to Jamie. He went and seen Jamie down the street from the job site. Okay, he went. Jamie was the guy that he said he went and talked to. You know, Richard Tucker and all of them was there. But he didn't say I was there. See, he's saying that was on Tuesday. That's what I heard. But that was on Monday. That's the day I got fired. They were all there.
Did Don fire you or Richard Tucker fire you?
Don fired.
What, like, why? Because he's your at the time supervisor?
Well, we were partners. 50-50. Okay? That's what we were. Jesse put me with him, and because I was working too many hours on the job, he wanted me to go sub because I'd make more money working with Don. He needed some help. Don was doing like maybe one house a month. Okay? And put me with him, so therefore we jumped up to almost 2 houses a month. You know, we was doing a whole house, and then
Did you see him and Candace interact, or maybe even?
she would come to the house. She would come to the job site.
She would.
Rambo.
And how did they interact with her? Like,
Who's her?
their parents, like Don and Candace. How did they interact
They were
with
always
Summer?
fighting half the time.
They fought a lot.
Yeah, they fought a lot. I see him take a lot of material. You know, like I said, I went to his house, and he had to have 20, 30 buckets of mud that had been sitting out there a couple of years and frozen. That was no good. And I mean, you can't freeze mud. Mud can't sit out in the cold. Freeze it. It's freezing the mold. He's mixing that shit in with the mud in the houses, trying to get rid of it because he took it from Tucker and them, and he was trying to get rid of it. But his whole yard was full of it. I said, man, brand new buckets of mud. But then he accused me of stealing mud when he told me to go put it in my storage because he didn't have no room at the house.
Do you know if he's still working for Tucker?
I don't know, but I heard he was. I don't know.
So who else would
I haven't seen him since he ripped me off, but I saw him almost every day last week.
Yeah, like you said,
Kind of weird. My hair stood up the first day I saw him go by because my teeth were gringed. And I thought he wasn't doing 90 mile an hour either. He was doing like 20 mile an hour. So he's seen me there, and he's cahooted with my old boss that I had and just supposedly fired me. But he's cahooted with him, and he's a damn needle junkie. That's why I don't work for him no more. So he wants to accuse me of being, what do you call me, a junkie? Yeah, and a junkie is a needlehead. Somebody who, maybe a crackhead or meth head, but I always thought a junkie was just a heroin dopehead, shoot up needles. That's what I always thought. To be frank honest, I ain't done none of it. I like tattoos, but my ex-boss, his hands, you can see tracks on brown Womack paint. He wanted to say I'm a junkie because he got on with Don Wells, and I told him too much, John, and he went ahead and got in with Don Wells and wanted to throw me back as being a main suspect. I can't hold the job.
Do you know where Don was on June 15th? Was he at work that you know of? I know you were fired.
Yeah, Jesse told me he went to skim a house. Wasn't that when I went with the Jesse and I said, Jesse? I said, where's Don? He said, he's skimming the house. I said, he's skimming the house when his daughter's missing? I said, there's something wrong with that. I said, because me personally, I don't know that I could work if somebody was skimming a house when my daughter's missing.
what house was that? Where?
That was one of their houses. That was, forget the name of that subdivision. That's a Jonesboro, though.
So he was in Jonesboro area.
Right there, huh?
Was it in Rock Springs?
No,
He
it
was
was
in
in Jonesboro.
Right there where? Like,
I want to say by the police station, Sullivan County Police Station.
so he was there the day Summer was
What?
reported missing.
What's that police station up there in Jonesboro? Is that Sullivan County? That is Sullivan County, isn't it? I believe so. I think it is Sullivan County Police. They're pretty big.
I don't know.
That's what Jesse said. I didn't know. I didn't go. I wasn't allowed to. I was fired.
You don't
I
know
just didn't understand why he was going to work when his daughter's missing. That's what I didn't get.
And then we waited around for my prescription. Summer went swimming that day at the horse stables, I believe it was. And then we come back, and I went in my camper, and after we brought my groceries in for me, and
Okay, so she jumps forward from coming home. She says basically they're swimming there, and she doesn't mention if they come pick her up at the medical center.
later on that night, Hunter shut down, and I didn't even know anything, and he had texted his girlfriend something. Her mom called me. I spazzed. Hunter was not himself. I called a friend of mine because Grandma was home. Yeah, sure, he'd come get me. Yep.
Like, three clothes back
Oh my God, even you're almost in tears.
And I said, what's wrong?
Okay, guys, so here she is. She's in tears because she's remembering that night. She says that Hunter broke down and that, she could see that something was wrong with him. The girlfriend called and she asks him what's wrong. Let's hear what else she says.
He wanted to talk to me, he wanted to come out of it or nothing. He was just sitting there, rocking back and forth. My homegirl had to come. And we had all we could do to get him out of that house, out of his room, and sit him at this table. I had to call TVI back up.
So, the day the Summer was swimming and everything, Allie called Candace and begged her to take Hunter to the swimming hole with them and with Summer. That's the video you see.
Yep.
Okay? Yeah. Then Hunter, there was no plans or nothing. She begged Candace to take her there and go swimming. And Hunter goes in the woods, and I Hunter went to talk to Allie about something. But as soon as missing, they turned on us and started spreading lies. Why? I can understand trying to clear Hunter if he's not guilty. Okay? No. But the thing Hunter pulled, okay, if we're not sure that Hunter didn't come up here and grab Summer, we're not sure. Hunter is he's lies constantly, and so has Allie. And Chris M is the biggest liar, and Chris M is with him and told him not to talk to anybody. I can kill Chris M for that. Chris M doesn't understand where I stand with this, but I could actually fucking fuck Chris M for this. Because as soon as Summer got gone, Hunter and Allie on us. Why? See, I want to go over there and keep this door in and get the truth out of them and put a gun to the fucking head. They don't understand. We're talking about my daughter. This ain't no fucking joke. We're talking about my daughter.
Yep.
Why did they as soon as Summer come up missing?
Well, and why is Chris Garden so determined to try to help him? I don't understand. I'm like, I asked him, I said, are you talking to them? What?
I've been trying to talk to Ellie and Hunter, trying to find out what the truth is, but I can't. I have to send the police and everything else.
Well, what time was that?
Like, how far in between calls? Between you and her having that call when she's picking up prescriptions to she's calling you saying Summer's missing? Do you know how long?
Yeah, I honestly can't say, but I remember, the only thing that I can remember, it was thinking, well, I might as well just work late because they're busy doing other things and there's no point in me going home because I don't want to go home and sit there by myself. So I figured I'd just work late that day. And that's, yeah.
Okay. And why did Don call?
I have no idea. He just called. I don't even know if he was working at the time.
Okay.
But if he was working, he obviously wouldn't know that there was some dude looking at the little kids.
Well, everyone knows you called your wife. Could you kind of give us a little details about that? Do you kind of remember, was it morning, afternoon, later afternoon when you called her? Do you remember how that conversation went at all? Because Hunter's saying you called about, two people touching children or whatever. So could you kind of tell us if you remember what time the call was and how that conversation went?
Well, the only thing I know is, I call her from time to time just to see what she's doing, and she said that she's taking care of some prescriptions or whatever. It seemed to me that it was later than that, but because I made up my mind, well, they're busy doing this and whatever, I might as well just stay late at work, so I was working late.
Hey, Don.
Hey.
Your wife messaged me and said that you was at home at a 3 o'clock hour, and I have that as evidence. She did not want nobody to know you was at home.
That's not true. After she messaged you that, if that's not the case, then don't even.
Do you have?
I mean, why would she say something?
Precisely, and that's what it.
So they was at the lake, and then Hunter and his, I guess they went, she called and says, come by the house, and then she begged to take Hunter to the lake with them so they could swim a little bit. Seen them videos, and then I took her back, and I said everything was okay in that situation between them.
Yeah. Which situation?
Sir.
Which
which situation, sir? This is all our property here to the left. All this. Our house is up there on top. So all this is our property. So I turned straight away in here.
There was never somebody that just disappeared without a clue that I know of. I'm sure it happens, but not that I've ever seen in my life.
Well, when there's an abduction, I mean, what else would you call it?
Yeah.
Disappearing. I don't understand that. You know. But yeah, somebody was either hiding in the weeds there, waiting for the shade to come in the basement. But yeah, I mean, we weren't 30. They weren't 30 feet away when she got gone. Yeah. I mean, maybe 40 at the most.
Right.
I don't know.
Saw that night. How well do you know him, and do you know why he was out there around your boys?
Yeah, a lot of our neighbors heard, us screaming Summer's name, and so I think I don't know for sure because I wasn't there, but I've known him for years.
Well, I'm gonna end this show, but I mean, if you've said everything, I'm not looking into the church people to make you angry. I'm looking into the church people because they were some of the last people around your daughter, Donald.
No, they weren't around her at all. We was at our house, and nobody was here but me. I wasn't here.
So when Robin tells Chris McDonough in that interview, and she said